My name is Mike Meredith. I'm the doctor of Doctor's Wood Shop, and we're here at Northwoods Figured Woods. And Les and Susan have opened up their shop for me today to make a series of video tutorials, and I want to talk about the high build friction polish and the walnut oil Carnauba Wax Shellac finish that I make. These are classic friction polishes. A friction polish is defined as something with an oil and a shellac component. It goes back to the days of French polish, made famous by the late Louis style of furniture, where the oil and shellac mixture was applied by a French polishing mop, as it's called today, a wad of cotton surrounded by cheesecloth, with a striking motion that provided heat that dried the shellac and gave that depth of finish that characterizes the friction polishes. As I said, I make two that fall into that category: the high build friction polish and the walnut oil Carnauba Wax Shellac finish. The high build friction polish is the traditional friction polish. This is a finish that you use when you want depth of finish. For example, this black walnut burl hollow form is finished with about 5 coats of the high build friction polish. As you, I hope, can see, it has a great depth of finish. It's a high luster finish, and it's topped off with a wax top coat. The other friction polish, the walnut oil Carnauba Wax Shellac, is what's on this pepper mill. Now, the depth of finish is not as great, but yet it's a high luster shine, and it's a very, very tough finish. So we have two friction polishes for two different purposes. Things that are going to sit on the shelf and look beautiful. The high build friction polish is your polish of choice because of that depth of finish. For things that are going to get handled every day, like pepper mills, wine stoppers, pizza cutters, bottle openers, whatever it is, the walnut oil Carnauba Wax Shellac wood turning finish, the long name has caused it to be referred to as three-way. That is your finish of choice. So what I have here is a piece of cocobolo that I want to show you how to use these friction polishes. On the left side of the tape, I'm going to use the high build friction polish, and on the right side we'll use the three-way, the walnut oil Carnauba Wax Shellac. The way to apply the friction polishes is either directly to the wood or by applying to a paper towel. Remember, a paper towel is the safer of the two choices between cloth and paper. It will tear away and not catch your finger. The lathe is set at a moderate speed, about 1500 RPM, and I choose to pour the friction polish directly onto the finished surface. Once a small amount is put in place, you apply the friction. And as the name suggests, they do need some degree of heat from the lathe to dry the polish. One, a second layer of the walnut oil wax shellac, a little more speed, and I think one more will finish us with this. About 3 layers seems to be the optimum application for the three-way friction polish. Unlike the high build friction polish where you can add 7, 10 layers, you don't seem to gain anything in clarity of finish. Now, as the name suggests, the friction polish requires friction. You need to feel the heat coming through the paper towel. That way you know you're melting the Carnauba wax, you're drying the shellac, and you're driving the oil into the wood. There we are. Done. Now, with all friction polishes, it would be useful to let the coat dry slightly between applications. You're not really letting it dry, you're letting it harden. The shellac needs to harden throughout the entire layer. So the high build friction polish we're going to apply in the same way. Either putting it directly onto the paper towel. By the way, this is cocobolo that's been sanded to a 600 grit with the use of the sanding lubricant, my Walnut finishing oil. If you're going to drip directly onto the piece, make sure you're on the back side so that the material goes down into the paper towel instead of up into your glasses. Okay, so we've got it now covered. We supply some pressure. We're starting to see a nice shine develop. I'm not going to give it the minute or two between coats that would prevent damaging a soft finish. It's 2. And you can see we're filling the surface. The oil is going into the wood, the shellac is setting up. And I think about one more coat will make my point. Again, it's a friction polish. You need the heat of the lathe to cure the polish. Okay, so at this point we got 3 layers of the high build friction polish on. We could continue to apply the high build friction polish to give a depth of finish up to the point where we're satisfied with the appearance of the piece. The walnut oil Carnauba wax shellac finish, 3 coats and you're done, including a wax top coat. With a high build friction polish, I think it's a good idea to put a wax top coat on that to protect the polish. They're equally shiny, equally glossy, equally beautiful, but it's true that the walnut oil wax shellac finish will provide a tougher layer, a more protective layer. So the high build friction polish for the things that are going to look beautiful, the walnut oil wax shellac for things they're going to use on a daily basis. Both of them are going to be very easily restored with a soft cloth. If they lose the luster, the gloss that you want, just buff them back up, and they'll return to their original shine.